The sun dipped low in the sky, painting the desert in shades of orange and purple. A quiet evening settled over the vast landscape, where the only sound was the soft rustling of the wind through the sagebrush. In this serene setting, a distant train whistle echoed, breaking the peaceful silence. The sound sliced through the air like a knife, sharp and clear, stirring everything around it. Nearby, in a small cabin next to the tracks, Jake, a dedicated train engineer, was watching the horizon. He leaned against the weathered wood of his porch, his eyes scanning the rolling hills. He had spent many evenings here, but tonight felt different. A tingling sensation crept up his spine as if something unexpected was about to happen. As the whistle echoed again, he could almost feel it vibrating through his bones. The rhythmic thumping of wheels on tracks could be heard approaching from a distance, drawing in not only passengers but also creatures from their slumber. The desert animals stirred at the call of adventure. The coyotes were waking up and gathering, ready to see what excitement this evening would bring. Little did Jake know that this night would become unforgettable for both him and the wild animals nearby. Jake was no ordinary train engineer. He had spent over a decade working the rails, navigating the twists and turns of the desert tracks with skill and confidence. His weathered hands told stories of countless journeys, while his deep-set eyes sparkled with the thrill of adventure. Every day brought a new experience, whether it was guiding the train through a sandstorm or spotting rare wildlife alongside the tracks. His love for the job came from more than just the engine's roar or the rhythmic clatter of wheels on steel. It was about the connection he felt with the land, the vast emptiness where time seemed to stand still, interrupted only by the powerful train slicing through it. Yet, Jake had also witnessed strange sights that few could imagine. He had seen immense shadows glide across the hills and heard eerie howls echoing under the moonlight, leaving him questioning what secrets the night held. As he stood on his porch, he breathed in the cool desert air, sensing that something extraordinary was looming. Tonight wasn't going to be just another shift. He could feel it deep in his chest, a promise of untold stories waiting to unfold on the tracks ahead. As twilight deepened, the haunting sound of the train whistle reverberated through the canyons, a sharp call that seemed to awaken the very spirit of the desert. The eerie echo traveled far and wide, bouncing off the rocky cliffs and swirling with the arrival of night. To Jake, it was a familiar song, but tonight it had an unusual quality, one that felt almost ghostly. The whistle pierced the stillness, each blast resonating like a siren beckoning unseen predators from their hiding places. Farther along, it stirred the hidden cacti and prickly bushes, causing creatures to rustle in the underbrush. Coyotes, their ears perked and noses twitching, responded instinctively to the sound, drawn from their lairs as if enchanted by its call. In the dim light, shadows flickered as the nimble animals emerged cautiously from their daytime hideaways. Their keen eyes glinted in anticipation as they gathered at the edge of the tracks, emboldened by an instinct that told them the night held promise. The train whistle heralded not just the arrival of Jake's locomotive, but an adventure that would intertwine the lives of man and nature in ways he couldn't yet fathom. The moment the train whistle pierced the night, a sharp excitement rippled through the desert, reaching the ears of the hungry coyotes hidden in their dens. One by one, they emerged from the shadowy brush, drawn to the sound like moths to a flame. Their sleek bodies moved gracefully beneath the silvery glow of the moon, and as they gathered near the tracks, anticipation fluttered in the air. With each step, their eyes shone like bright jewels, reflecting the dim light and revealing sharp, glistening teeth as they let out soft yips and howls. The calls mingled with the echo of the train whistle, creating a haunting symphony that resonated through the stillness. This was their territory, and they were ready for whatever adventure awaited them tonight. The pack moved closer together, cautious but curious, sniffing the cool night air for any scent of food. Instinctively, they communicated with one another through subtle gestures and soft growls. Their senses heightened, they eagerly awaited the next sound that would guide their nightly hunt. For them, this was more than just a call. It was an invitation to connect with nature's rhythm and embrace the thrill of the chase under a blanket of stars. As Jake stood on his porch, readying himself for the train's arrival, he caught sight of the coyotes in the distance. Their sleek forms moved gracefully through the brush, shadows flickering under the pale glow of the moon. He could see their powerful limbs and lithe movements, but it was their teeth that truly captivated him. They shone like tiny stars against the dark backdrop as they drew closer to the tracks. The whistling of the approaching train vibrated through the ground, causing a ripple of excitement among the pack. Their ears perked up as they picked up on every sound, soft whispers and rustles growing louder with anticipation. Jake felt his heart race at this unusual sight. Normally, coyotes were elusive and cautious creatures. Yet tonight, they ventured into view boldly, seemingly entranced by the energy of the moment. Jake squinted into the night, marveling at how these wild animals were transformed by instinct and curiosity. As he leaned against the railing, he counted their glinting teeth one by one. A strange yet stunning reminder of nature's raw beauty mingling with his world as it awaited an impending collision with fate. As the train thundered closer, Jake's focus sharpened, yet an unsettling feeling began to creep into his mind. He turned his gaze back towards the track, where the coyotes had gathered, the pack now bold and restless. The way they moved, their energy heightened under the moonlight, made him uneasy. It felt as if they were in a trance, drawn by the vibrations of the ground and the distant rumble of the train. Jake's heart raced as he recalled tales of wildlife encounters gone wrong, stories of desperate animals rushing to the tracks when a train approached. He had seen his fair share of close calls in his career, and the image of coyote eyes glinting in the dark began to play on his thoughts. With the bridge ahead not being in the best condition, he knew every ounce of concentration was vital. Any distraction could spell disaster. As he clutched the controls of the locomotive, preparing for the momentous crossing, Jake felt torn between his love for working on the rails and his growing concern for the creatures so close to danger. The night was thick with tension, and he hoped that everything would align without incident as both worlds collided just beyond the bridge. The bridge ahead had a long and storied past, a structure that stood as a testament to both human ingenuity and the trials of nature. Built many decades ago, it had seen countless trains rumble across its aged timbers, each journey carrying passengers and freight through the vast desert landscape. However, it was not just the trains that used this bridge. Many animals had crossed its path over the years, some with harrowing tales to tell. Local folklore spoke of creatures caught in unfortunate circumstances. Deer startled by the sound of the train, rushing onto the tracks only to meet disaster, while others had narrowly escaped at the last moment. The tales warned of shadows darting across the bridge just as the trains approached, leaving behind echoes of near misses that haunted those who lived nearby. Jake recalled how his fellow engineers often shared these stories during their breaks, recounting wild encounters with coyotes and other animals that wandered too close. The bridge had become a crossroads between two worlds, man's mechanical progress and nature's wild heart. As he prepared for tonight's crossing, Jake felt the weight of its history pressing down on him, a reminder that every journey carried both risk and responsibility. The rhythmic clatter of the train wheels grew louder as the massive locomotive approached, a powerful machine rumbling through the desert night. Clouds of steam billowed from its smokestack, swirling and twisting in the moonlight as if they were living creatures themselves. The engine, a towering beast of iron and steel, barreled down the tracks with an unwavering determination, trembling with raw energy. As Jake gripped the controls tighter, he felt the vibrations coursing through the cab. He focused intently on the tracks ahead, his mind racing with every detail, the sharp curves and gradients, especially as they neared the old bridge. Each puff of steam filled him with urgency while painting a picture of the journey that lay ahead. He glanced at the glowing dial and then out at the dark silhouette of the bridge, experiencing a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The night air crackled with tension. Every breath he took was thick with anticipation. Jake could almost feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him, the lives of passengers on board, along with the inquisitive coyotes gathering nearby. His sense of control was paramount as he urged the train forward, knowing that every cautious movement mattered as they neared their destination. As the train thundered onto the bridge, Jake's heart raced, each beat synchronized with the powerful engines that propelled them forward. Suddenly, Out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a flash of movement amongst the coyotes at the edge of the tracks. One of the bold creatures darted too close, its silhouette a blur against the darkened backdrop. The unexpected sight jolted him from his focused trance. For a split second, everything hung in balance. Jake's mind raced as he wrestled with his instincts. Should he pull the brakes? Would that frighten the pack more and cause chaos? He felt a surge of adrenaline surging through him, his hand hovering over the throttle as he wrestled with uncertainty. The train barreled forward, relentless and unstoppable, while the coyotes seemed frozen in time, eyes wide, as if sensing the imminent danger. The moment stretched out indefinitely, feeling both like an eternity and a heartbeat at once. Jake's breath quickened. He could hardly think straight as he watched the scene unfold before him. This was not just a routine crossing. It was an encounter that could change everything in an instant, leaving lives hanging in the balance on both sides of the track. Just as Jake wrestled with his decision, a deafening crack echoed through the night, sending a jolt of fear through him. The bridge shuddered violently beneath the weight of the train, and he felt the ground beneath him tremble as if it were alive. A section of the bridge suddenly gave way, splintering wood and metal screaming against the force of the locomotive. In that instant, time seemed to slow. Jake's heart pounded wildly as he instinctively pulled back on the throttle, but the train was already too far committed. Terrified shouts erupted from the passengers behind him, creating a cacophony that mingled with the roaring steam and clattering wheels. He could see the coyotes scattering in panic, their previous boldness transformed into frantic flight. The front cars lurched, teetering precariously over the collapsing structure, while Jake's mind raced with thoughts of disaster. With every ounce of strength and focus, he fought to regain control of the engine. All his training and experience surged to the forefront as he braced himself for impact, praying that they would make it across before more of the bridge crumbled beneath them. Each moment felt like an eternity as danger loomed ever closer, threatening to rewrite their fates forever. As the train continued its terrifying journey across the collapsing bridge, the pack of coyotes reacted instinctively to the chaotic scene unfolding before them. Some of the bolder members of the group, initially drawn by curiosity, quickly retreated into the shadows, their hearts pounding as they darted back into the safety of the underbrush. The sound of the train rattling over unstable timbers and the echoing screams from passengers filled the air, urging them away from danger. Yet not all were so quick to flee. A few coyotes lingered, momentarily frozen in awe and shock at the powerful machine rumbling overhead. Their keen eyes reflected the moonlight, wide with disbelief as the massive train thundered across the bridge, a spectacle that felt both extraordinary and terrifying. They watched, entranced by the raw power of the locomotive, a contrast to their wild instincts. In those fleeting moments, they were caught between two worlds, the familiar safety of their territory and the fascinating, yet dangerous intricacies of humanity. As pieces of the bridge began to crumble and splinter, even the most curious coyotes sensed a shift in their surroundings, leading them to make a hasty retreat as the night shifted once again into chaos. As the dust settled and the echo of chaos faded, Jake took a moment to breathe deeply, his heart finally beginning to slow. He looked back at the bridge, now unstable but still standing, and reflected on the night's harrowing events. It struck him how intertwined his world was with that of nature. The curious coyotes had been drawn to the sound of the train, both fascinated and terrified by its power. In that instant, he appreciated the delicate balance between technology and the wild terrain he traversed. Trains like his represented human advancement, machines capable of connecting distant places, but they also posed risks to the very creatures that shared this land. The coyotes' retreat reminded him of nature's resilience, yet it also echoed a profound warning about harmony. Jake felt gratitude wash over him. Gratitude that he had managed to maintain control in such a precarious situation, and relief washed over him knowing everyone on board was safe. This experience deepened his respect for both technology and wildlife. While they could clash dramatically, there existed opportunities for understanding between them. As he steered the train into the night, he carried with him a renewed sense of responsibility toward both passengers and the wild heart that lay just beyond the tracks. As the night deepened, a calm settled over the desert once more. The train, now safely clear of the bridge, continued its journey through the vast expanse of stars and silence. The chaos of moments before felt like a distant memory, yet Jake knew it had changed him forever. He glanced out the window, watching the landscape slip by in the soft glow of moonlight, still haunted by the image of the coyotes and the collapsing bridge. Jake's thoughts wandered back to the wild creatures he had glimpsed earlier, their bright eyes reflecting both curiosity and fear. He felt a profound connection to them and an understanding that they were navigating their own challenges in a world increasingly dominated by human inventions. With each turn of the wheels beneath him, he felt gratitude for what he had experienced, a reminder of nature's beauty and fragility intertwined with the powerful force of technology. As he guided the train onward, Jake resolved to carry this lesson with him, a commitment to respect both his passengers and the wildlife that shared the land. With every mile covered, he embraced his role not only as an engineer, but as a guardian of this delicate balance between man and nature, forever changed by an unforgettable night of adventure.